Hey guys, it's Fofo Tsukiyomi doing my fourth recording of the day, so I'm pretty tired, bear with me. But today we're going to be talking about if Nagi went to the wild card. So there's a bunch of things to be jam-packed in this. And my longest video is 24 minutes or 25, so this might be the longest one. Let's get to it. Okay, so we have to find a trigger point of how this would even happen. And this would definitely be happening during the Isagi, Naohaya, Nagi, and Barrow match. The only difference is Naohaya adapts to Isagi's direct shot, meaning that Naohaya will eliminate Isagi and Nagi. Now, knowing on how well Isagi and him clicked in Team Z and the memories of them together, especially with the fact that he just stole a man's shot and he would probably feel bad for him more than he would feel bad for Nagi. Even though talent-wise Nagi should be superior to Isagi, he should also note that Barrow hates Nagi with a living sponge and would want Nagi to just die there and then, and would want donkeys, not annoying peasants who would get in his way. So in order to build his team of donkeys, he would just basically take Isagi with him and wouldn't even give a damn about Nagi. But more of likely it would be Naohaya's choice. Now let's get into the next impact. We would have Barrow, Naohaya, and Isagi versus the dangerous trio of Rail, Kunigami, and Chigiri. And without Nagi to be able to understand how Rail works for them to see that final play, or for even Nagi to be able to help Isagi during those tough times when Nagi was carrying when Barrow was still being, Barrow, they're gonna lose really badly. And even though Isagi's an adaptability G-man, Naohaya is not doing crap against that team. So that means that they would probably select Isagi, leading to a team of Chigiri, Isagi, Kunigami, and Rail. So it's nearly the original four of, just except for Rail instead of Bachira, which is pretty insane. Damn. That means Barrow and Naohaya would fall down again. And honestly, what happens with them is none of my damn business. But I can see Naohaya getting eliminated after because he doesn't work in this video for me. Anyway, next is the fact that Shido and Igaguri would never meet Rail and Kunigami because of the whole situation where they don't lose this time. So that will go, take that as you will. The four will face Rin, Ryu, Tokimitsu, and Bachira. And no Nagi means that there will be no insane link-up play between Isagi and Nagi. Kunigami would probably be matched up with Ryu. Kunigami would be matched up with Tokimitsu. Chigiri with Ryu. Rail would probably go after Bachira, and Isagi would go after Rin because Rail wouldn't have that resolve Nagi did to go after Rin. The match would probably still end up the same or even worse for them, but Isagi would be taken at the end of the day. And everything else would stay similar for the second selection. Now, the next thing we need to talk about is the tryout matches. Rail would definitely take Isagi's place, as after being trashed by Rin in that final match, he would definitely want to see what Rin is all about, and since he's gonna use his Charmeleon style to become the best in the world, why not test it out against the best two strikers, being Rin and Shido. The next thing to note that is Bachira would be number 6 instead of Nagi because Nagi's not there, meaning that it has to be Isagi being number 7. I doubt Isagi is really going to be lower, and especially since these are teammates of Ren, it would make sense since they formed a chemical reaction to score against the World 5. Anyway, that means that Rail would copy Otoya's Shadow Shinobi steps because he would be playing against Otoya instead of playing with Yukimiya, so he wouldn't copy the gyro shot. I think he would copy the shadow steps pretty fastly to score a goal in that game. Now, the next thing to note is that Isagi would have 2 matches since he's the 7th person, which is good for him. Kunigami would team up with Bachira in the match where Rail and Nagi teamed up. since Bachira would be 6. And everything else would pretty much end the same. Now, in terms of the starting lineup in the actual Bluelock versus U20 game, I'll just have Kunigami fill in because Barrow's point was to destroy Isagi, but Darai was starting to figure out how to stop it pretty fastly. So the time he does come in is very critical, and I do think that is perfect storytelling for Barrow to come in late in the game just to save everyone's butts, because I don't think he would have had the same impact if he had started the whole game. So I'm still going to give Kunigami. Kunigami wouldn't score in the occasion Nagi did because Nagi only scored because of his trapping abilities. Kunigami, he's very predictable, and that U20 team would pretty much lock him down insanely. So who would score that first goal for Bluelock? It would be Karasu. I feel like Karasu was the first person who did figure it out, and in the one play where all the U20 players were just diving like flies and trying to stop Bluelock from scoring, I feel like Karasu would be the one to take advantage of the whole disarray situation to score. Pretty much after that, nothing changes. Kunigami gets subbed out for Barrow, so instead of Otoya getting subbed out, it would be Barrow, which would make more sense because Barrow would be playing closer to Isagi and win. So I could see Otoya actually getting to stay the whole game this time, which I don't think he'll do anything, but still, at least he got more minutes. Now, the changes start here. Kunigami likes Chelsea, he likes Blue Peacocks, and he likes England. And alongside the fact that Chigui's favorite player is Eden Hazard, they share that in common, which means I could see Kunigami in this version going to Manshine City for the NEL, since he does finally have that choice because he wasn't in the wild card. Now, coming out of the wild card is Nagi Seishiro, and bro, will this guy be coming for hell. He'll be becoming a bastard to join Isagi. Kunigami will be joining Reo and Chigui. It'll basically be like the second selection match team. Now, for the first game, Bastard Munchen versus FC Barcha, we have to talk about Nagi. Nagi would definitely have some ability of ambidextrity. I don't think he would be a perfect ambidextrous player, but he would definitely be improved. His shot power would be insane. His trapping abilities and his creativity would also be off the charts. So in the opening game, I would see him scoring very fast. And then Kaiser would follow it up, making it 2-1. I could see Bachura and Levino leveling it to make it 2-2. And then finally for the ending, Nagi scores a second goal. So Nagi would already be at 2 goals in this ring, better than his former self, which only had 1 goal throughout the whole 3 matches so far. Now when they face Manshine, let's talk about Kunigami for a second because he's also going to be affected. He's not going to have that egotistical thing to be stealing people's goals. He will still be playing the superhero, so he will be playing the Righteous Ray, which actually does regress his potential in terms of shooting ability in this thing. But it would open up the door for him to be able to team up with players like Chigui and Rail. Speaking of Rail, instead of it being centered around Nagi, Manshine would be centered around Rail, because Rail would probably be the biggest beast in terms of striking ability. Chigui would be there, but Chigui would still stay the same, as he's just a presence guy who will just run his own system. He doesn't need to be a part of the Manshine system. So what would happen is Rail would be the one dominating in Nagi's place, and he would use his Tremelian style to full effect. Now, how would this game play out? I could see a situation where Chigui just scores really fast, and then Kaiser would get a Kaiser impact back to level it. And then the shocker is going to be when Isagi does learn Metavision in this game. He's gonna try and score, but Kaiser will do his just barging the hell in pose, and then Isagi tries to still shoot, but Nagi traps it and then scores, which would be a wicked thing, similar to how he trapped Yukimiya's ball and still scored, leading it to be 2-1. And then in this instance, I could see Rail scoring the second goal, as Rail wouldn't be able to pass it to Kunigami even if he wanted to, because Kaiser would be there. And yeah, I could just see Rail being a very egotistical person at this stage. So I could see Rail using Itoshi Win and Sei's abilities to the best of his benefit to score. And then at the ending, I could see Nagi scoring again, because in this instance, everything would be the same. But let me talk about Nagi for a second, why this would work. Nagi wouldn't be as evil as Kunigami was. He wouldn't be an asshole who doesn't talk to anyone, because Nagi is used to discarding people and not caring. He's used to destroying people's lives and not caring. He didn't really care when Naruhaya. I mean, he did show concern, but when he eliminated Naruhaya, he wasn't that bothered by it. And he didn't know most of the Team Z members or his own members, unlike Kunigami, who actually got along with the players. So Nagi would just kill everyone with no remorse. So this means Isagi and Nagi would be on better terms compared to Isagi and Wildcard Kunigami, which means Wildcard Nagi would be linking up with Isagi on time to time. Even though Nagi would be more ferocious to try and get his own goals, I could see him still being more reasonable than Kunigami. So Nagi would score the final goal, leading him to have 4 goals in this thing. Yo, Kaiser would not be happy. This man has double his goals. Now against Ubers, I could definitely see Isagi having a problem where he doesn't learn lefty shot because Kunigami isn't there to teach him. And let's be honest, Nagi is not a teacher. He cannot teach. And he was not born with a left leg shot power like Kunigami. Kunigami's been with the left leg shooting power his whole life. So he would be able to understand and teach it to someone like Isagi. So what would happen is Isagi would get messed up by Ness, and leading that to be a Kaiser goal, as Kaiser would get the ball off of Ness to score an insane goal. I could somehow see Kaiser doing like a bicycle or an insane Kaiser impact header version to score, as Ness would find a perfect way to get him the ball. And then Kaiser would still score the second goal. So in this version, Kaiser does better against Ubers thanks to Ness. And Ness actually does something. And then for the final play, I could still see Isagi scoring, because that goal is crazy. No one on the whole pitch would have figured it out. And now we get into Manshine versus PXG. This would be the game where Kunigami would definitely need to score a goal, but it would not be as the same impact as it would in the original timeline, because Kunigami and Shido do not have that hate relationship, as they've never played against each other, which means it won't be as evil as before. Now, this means that I could definitely see PXG still winning, but I feel like it would be more closer because Rayo would have been more dangerous. But at the same time, this is Rin we're talking about. Rin probably played more minutes than Shido in this game. And since Rin knows himself and his brother very well, he would be able to lock down Rayo. And I do not see Kunigami scoring against this PXG team, especially with Tokimitsu there. Like, nah, he's not doing anything. And then Charles would just set him up. So I could still see this being a 3-1 deficit where Chiguri is the only person to score. Now, Manshine versus Ubers. I could definitely see Manshine doing a better job. I would see Chiguri and Rail scoring their goals. But Ubers is Ubers. At the end of the day, they're still going to win. Bao's a demon. Now, the last game is Manshine versus Barcha, and I could see Rail, Kunigami, and Chiguri each scoring 1 goal apiece. And if not that situation, I could definitely see Rail scoring all the goals for himself, as I feel like Rail would just clown on FC Barcha. But yeah, I could definitely see a situation where all 3 of them score a goal apiece. And then for the last game, this one is hard to predict, but I feel like PXG would still beat Bastard München 3-2. I would see Kunigami. Sorry, wait, I'm thinking about Manshine. I would definitely see Kaiser and Nagi scoring goals. I don't think Isagi would score against Rin. I think Rin would score 1 goal and Shido would score 2, as I think that backstory means that Shido's definitely going to be a bigger target, and especially the way Isagi was hyped to face him. Yeah. So in this scenario, Nagi does miss out on playing against the U20 team, but he comes back with a ferocious 5 goals in the next game. I mean, in the NEL, which is better than the one he has now. And then in terms of Bastard Munchen, they would definitely be better, I think, in this version. But in terms of how fast they score the goals, Karasu would definitely improve, as he would have gotten that goal in the Under-20 World Cup. Someone who doesn't improve, which is from Manchester City, is Kunagami, as he doesn't even score a goal in this version of the NEL. Without his hyena hunting prowess, it's sad to say that his physique is good, but I don't think he went through hell to improve. And the way it was then, his stats were insane, and his physicality and only being hyena was actually the reason why he did score goals. Although he might have been able to score a goal with Isagi, I don't think Rail would be able to give him opportunities, because Rail would be an egoist and Chigiri would also be an egoist. So I feel like there would be no one who would actually want to give him the ball, especially if everyone is so adaptable to Kunigami at this point, because Kunigami is just a typical lefty shooter. Now, let's talk about FC Barca. Nothing changes. PXG, nothing changes. Manchester City, Rail becomes a beast, as he would score way more. He would actually score goals in this version. Chigiri would stay the same. But most importantly in all of this, Nagi is him again. Nagi's gone through his Isagi problem, and he wouldn't have to hold back. He would definitely have more of a reason to play football, as it wouldn't just be for Isagi, which is the reason why when playing with Isagi, he wouldn't get like turned off if he scored more goals than Isagi or something like that. And playing with Isagi also helps keep that goal under check for now. So is the wildcard video a success for Nagi? Absolutely. Deals with his eternal problems, makes him even a bigger beast, and honestly, I felt that this was needed for Nagi more than Kunigami, if you ask me. Anyway, let me know who you guys want to see in the wild card next. And thank you all for 100 subscribers. It means the world to me. Peace out. Have a good one.